Hey, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to show you guys how to do alcohol inks on a tumbler. To apply my inks, I have a cosmetic makeup wedge that I got from the Dollar Tree, and I've cut it in half. I'll start with my first color, which is teal, and I'm just going to drop some onto the sponge. And I will link the inks that I'm using in the description box below. I have my tumbler that I've spray painted with a white flat spray paint for a base, and I'm just going to start dabbing it onto the tumbler. The places that you dab can be random, and they're going to blend in the end, but I just want to cover all of the white spray paint. And you can add more ink as you go because it does soak up into the sponge. I'm just going to continue to dab all the way around the cup until the white base is covered. Alcohol inks are a lot of fun to use because none of your cups are going to look the same. They'll all have a different design, and to me it's one of the easiest cups that I make. Okay, so now I'm ready to use my second color. I'll use the second half of the makeup sponge that I have, squeeze it on, and I'll dab this one in random places. The purple is a more dominant color, so if I'm not careful, it will overtake the teal and the entire cup. So I'm just going to use it a little bit lighter than I did the teal. Now that I have the base coat, I'm ready to blend. I have this container with a push top that I got from the Dollar Tree. I'm just going to get a little bit of alcohol on a paper towel, and now I'll blend my two colors. I just blend lightly, get a little bit more alcohol as I go, and these colors are going to blend together beautifully. And I'll just move all the way around the cup, blending as I go. Now, if your colors aren't as prominent as you want them to be, they're not as bright, I'll wait for this to dry. It just takes a little bit for the alcohol to dry, and then I'll repeat the steps that I just completed. So I'll take my first color, the teal. After this is dried, I'll re-dab over the same spots. I'll take my purple, do the same, blend them, and now I'll be ready to move on to my next step. And now it's my favorite part of the alcohol ink cups. I have alcohol in a spray bottle. I'm just going to hold it back about 10 inches and spray it lightly over the cup, and you'll see that it has little spots and it begins to look like watercolor. You can use this technique as heavy or light as you want. The more alcohol you use, the more color it'll take away. You just play around with it until you have it like you want it to look. And after I let this dry, we're ready for epoxy. I have my two cups here, and I'm going to mix equal parts of A and B of the epoxy. I'll link the epoxy in the description box below. Okay, so we're going to pour our two parts in together, and make sure you scrape the sides because it does like to stick. So now just use a popsicle stick to mix the epoxy together, and I'll turn on my lights so you can see that there are air bubbles. And to get those out, you can place your epoxy in a bowl of warm water for just a few minutes, and those air bubbles will settle. So I spray my alcohol ink with a sealer, just a Krylon clear coat to protect the alcohol inks before I add the epoxy. And I wanted to make this one sparkle, so I added a little bit of silver glitter right into the epoxy. Just give it one last stir before we put it on the cup. So when you use epoxy, you want to make sure that you use gloves because it does get hot, it is a chemical, and it will burn you. So I just pour it directly onto the cup. I'll smooth it out, making sure to go top to bottom and cover all of the surface of the cup. The most important tip to epoxy and tumblers is making sure that you have a perfectly even cup, that it's balanced and not tilted in any way, and the epoxy is self-leveling. So as long as it's perfectly balanced, it will be smooth after 8 hours of drying. So thanks for watching. Like the video if it was helpful. Subscribe to my channel for more tutorials, and until next time, thanks guys.